Hello, my friends. Today I've brought you a drama that you're definitely going to love. I can't wait to read your comments and hear what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the new videos I upload. Alright, get ready. Let's begin our drama. We start with Gemma, a novice nun in training. She's always late to church prayers, running around every other day. One day, she arrives late as usual and notices a girl sitting there with headphones on, listening to music. Gemma tries to signal to her, turn that off and pay attention to the prayer. But the girl completely ignores her. So Gemma sneaks up behind her to take the phone away, but it falls on the floor and the music blasts through the church. Total embarrassment. Later, Gemma goes out, cleans the statues, and talks to them softly, showing her sweet and innocent side. Meanwhile, in the city, we meet the boy band Angel. The group's leader and main vocalist is the handsome one everyone adores. After their big concert, they're on their way back in the van when the manager tells them they need a new member because the group's vocals need strengthening. At the same time, Gemma is in a car that suddenly stops in front of them. A man gets out, walks straight to her, and stares in a strange way. He's holding a photo of a boy who looks exactly like Gemma because it's her twin brother. But Gemma panics, thinking he's about to attack her. She fights him off and runs. He chases after her and shouts from the car window, "Your twin brother, Minam, is in big trouble." Gemma freezes. "What happened to my brother?" she asks. He explains, "Your brother was chosen to be the new member of the famous band Angel." Gemma, confused, says, "What band are you talking about?" He replies, "Come on, who doesn't know the most popular pop group in the country?" Then he kneels in front of her, begging for help. He tells her she has to disguise herself as her brother and go sign the contract with Angel's company. Reluctantly, Gemma agrees and heads to the city with him. By coincidence, the band Angel shows up. When Gemma sees these charming young idols who look like they stepped out of a magazine, she's completely shocked and left speechless. She disguises herself as a boy and, with the manager's help, signs the contract. Just then, the band leader Tay arrives. He's hot-tempered and doesn't like Minam, afraid he'll steal his spotlight. Tay immediately drags Gemma to meet the rest of the band and demands, "We're not accepting you until we hear you sing. Show us your talent, then we'll decide." Gemma starts singing, and her delicate, beautiful voice stuns the three members. Jeremy, the cheerful one, exclaims, "That voice is amazing. I got chills." After signing the contract, Gemma changes back to her real self and plans to leave. But the manager begs her to stay just 1 week until the press conference, claiming her brother is sick and needs time before appearing. Gemma refuses and runs off to pray, asking God for guidance. She then heads to the train station to leave. By chance, the Angel members are also there. She accidentally bumps into Tay and runs away before he can recognize her, dropping her ticket in the process. The nuns start searching for the owner of the ticket, not realizing that it belongs to Minam, their new bandmate. Tay picks it up, confirming it's hers, but by then the train has already left. Gemma sits there sadly, remembering the manager's words. Her brother wants to become a star to find their missing mother, believing she'll return if she sees him performing. Gemma decides to cut her hair, disguise herself as her brother, and try to fulfill his dream while searching for their mother. That very day, the press conference begins. The three Angel members arrive, followed by Minam, Gemma in disguise. From then on, she moves into the band's dorm with Tay, Shin, and Jeremy. That night, they celebrate Minam's joining the group. The manager introduces her to the wardrobe stylist, Nuna. The only person who knows Minam is actually a girl. She promises to help Gemma keep her secret. Later, Gemma drinks too much and runs outside to throw up. Tay sees her and misunderstands, thinking their new member is about to harm himself. He yells, "Stop, you idiot. What are you doing?" But then he realizes Minam just wants to throw up, so he hands over a container. The other members rush to help, but Gemma collapses right onto Tay, knocking herself out. The next morning, she wakes up beside the guys, some half-dressed. Panicking, she runs off, muttering, "Nothing happened, right? Please, God, let this all be just a dream." But Jeremy overhears her and snaps, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself after what you did? You'd better apologize." Then he storms off. Tay, disgusted and confused, takes a long shower to calm down. Gemma tries to enter his room to apologize, but Tay glares at her and says, "Get out of here. I hate you and I don't want to see you again." He slams the door and goes to the bathroom, while Gemma accidentally knocks over his shelf of precious music tapes, causing a new disaster. When Tay came out of the bathroom, he was about to lose his mind. He moved closer to Minam and said, "I want to know, What are you doing in my room? Are you trying to drive me crazy and ruin my life? Suddenly, a vase fell on Minam's head and she fainted. The other band members rushed in, saw the scene, and misunderstood everything. Did you just kill Minam or what? They shouted. They quickly carried her to the car to go to the hospital. But Minam whispered to the manager, "If we go to the hospital, they'll find out I'm a girl." So she got out of the car and the manager treated her wound himself. Meanwhile, Tae was already at the hospital, worried about her. A journalist saw him there and assumed Tae had tried to get rid of Minam because he felt threatened. Soon the news spread everywhere. The next day, all of Tae's fans turned against Minam. They hated him, wanted him out of the group, and even attacked him. Later, Minam went back to the dorm and entered Tae's room again. She noticed that most of his tapes were of the famous singer Layla. Just then Tae walked in and snapped, "What are you doing here again?" He dragged her outside, furious. Not long after, Tae met Layla face to face. She turned out to be his mother, the mother he deeply resented because she abandoned him as a child. His voice cracked as he told her, "I used to have a mother, but she died." At the same time, Minam was busy preparing for the group's upcoming album photo shoot. She looked like a handsome young idol and even started dance practice. On the way, though, she was chased and attacked by Tae's angry fans. Later, Tae was in a video call with the artistic director. While the director stepped away, Minam entered the room with the stylist, who adjusted Minam's pants. Tae, still on video, saw the scene and completely misunderstood. Not long after, he overheard Minam saying she was actually a girl and secretly recorded the video. Tae was now the first person to discover her true identity. He stormed off to tell the manager, but on the way, Minam suddenly appeared in front of him. Out of nowhere, he pulled her into a hug, leaving everyone around shocked. Just then, the manager and the journalist arrived, and Tae had no choice but to stay silent. Later, he confronted Minam directly. "I know your secret," he said, showing her the video. She begged him, "Wait, let me explain everything." But Tae stepped into the elevator. Just before the doors closed, Minam grabbed his phone and ran. Tae chased her up to the rooftop. They fought over the phone and by accident, it fell onto a car parked below. They both ran downstairs. Tae helped Minam climb onto the car to retrieve the phone. She managed to grab it, but suddenly the car started moving while she was still on top. Terrified, Minam cried out, "Help me." Tae sprinted after the car. "Jump off now. The driver can't hear you," he yelled. Minam leapt, screaming in fear, and Tae caught her in his arms, protecting her from harm. Still shaken, he scolded her. "This is all your fault. Look at what I've become because of you. You're a danger to my life. Stay away from me." She apologized over and over. "I'm sorry." But Tae couldn't stand being around her anymore. Later, Minam confessed to the manager that Tae had discovered the truth. Shin, however, began treating her with warmth and tenderness, as if he somehow sensed she was a girl. Jeremy noticed and muttered in confusion, "What's going on here? Are those two in love?" That night, Minam sat alone with a photo of her twin brother. Tearfully, she whispered, "I'm sorry. I wanted to fulfill your dream and find our mother, but I can't do this anymore." The next day, a mysterious woman appeared among the fans, holding a childhood photo of Minam and Gemma. She sent the photo through an assistant with the message, "Tell Minam I'll be waiting here." When Minam saw the photo, she was shocked. She ran after the assistant, desperate to meet the woman, but she had already gone. Minam searched everywhere but couldn't find her. Later, Minam confided in Tae, sharing the story of her missing mother and her dream to reunite with her. She begged him to let her stay in the group until she found her mother, but Tae refused and walked away. Hours later, she came to him again and declared, "I will never give up." She gave him the most precious ring in her life, a matching ring she shared with her twin brother. Tae arrogantly tossed it into the water. Minam was furious. "That ring is the most valuable thing in my life. How could you do that? I'll find it no matter what." Tae smirked. "If you manage to find it, I'll let you stay in the group." So Minam searched tirelessly. Night fell and she was still looking. Tae, who had secretly kept the ring all along, was surprised at her determination. The next day, she was still searching. Finally, his heart softened. He handed it to her. "The ring is with me." Minam grabbed it, about to hit him in anger. "I told you I'd find it. Now I did." Then, overwhelmed, she hugged him and cried, "Thank you for not throwing it away." Embarrassed, Tae awkwardly accepted. And, true to his word, he let her stay in the band. One day, the group had a photo shoot at a swimming pool. Minam struggled with the shoot, and after it ended, everyone went off to change clothes. Not wanting to reveal her identity, she decided to change at the poolside after everyone left. But just then, a group of people entered the pool area. Panicked, she jumped into the water to hide. When Tae came back looking for her, he suddenly saw Minam floating unconscious in the water. Without hesitation, he dove in and pulled her out. He managed to save her, but he himself began to drown. Thankfully, the others rushed in time, rescued him, and called for help. The next day, Minam became a hero for saving Tae from drowning, and suddenly all the fans loved her again. Nobody knew the truth about her real identity. At the same time, the famous actress, known publicly for her angelic roles, filmed a scene at the hospital to make herself look kind-hearted. But in reality, she was manipulative and fake. By accident, she got into Tae's car. Once he realized her true personality, he dismissed her coldly. Later that night at the dorm, Minam cooked a special meal for Tae. Unfortunately, he turned out to be allergic to the food she made. He got upset and snapped at her. Meanwhile, Minam's aunt, the woman who had sent her the childhood photo, was in jail because of unpaid debts. The next day, Minam tries to design her own autograph for the fans, and she shows her sketches to Tae, but he tells her that all of them look bad. Minam keeps trying again, and Shin comes to help her. Tae also designs an autograph for her, and he actually makes a wonderful one, leaving it in her room. A little later, Minam comes to Tae and shows him the autograph that Shin helped her with. Tae immediately gets upset, leaves her, and walks away. Minam is left confused, not understanding what happened. The following day, the band meets the famous actress, often referred to as the fairy, and Jeremy becomes really attracted to her. However, Tae already knows that she is fake and dishonest. Soon after, Minam accidentally enters the room of the famous singer Lily. Minam tells Lily that Tae is one of her biggest fans, not knowing that Lily is actually Tae's mother. Meanwhile, the manager finds Minam's aunt and learns from her that Minam's father passed away some time ago, and that her mother disappeared and was even rumored to have died. At the same time, Tae takes Minam's phone from her because she isn't paying attention. Minam tells him, "Don't worry. You'll finally get rid of me soon, because the manager is about to find my mother." Minutes later, the concert began. The band went on stage, performed brilliantly, and absolutely thrilled the audience. After the show, Tae saw a message on Minam's phone from the manager. It said her mother had died. Later, Minam called the manager using Jeremy's phone to confirm, and she received the heartbreaking news herself. Minam collapsed in tears. Jeremy saw her crying, but didn't know what to do, so he ran to call Shin. Tae arrived first and held Minam in his arms to comfort her. Shin and Jeremy came in and misunderstood the scene. Shocked, they asked what was going on. Shin quietly asked, "What's wrong with Minam?" Tae quickly replied, "It's just stage fright, nothing more." But Shin didn't believe him. He gave Tae a suspicious look. Tae then took Minam to the makeup room and told her, "You can't go back out there like this. Leave now, I'll handle it." To slip away without being recognized, Minam removed her disguise and dressed as a girl. Tae saw her and was stunned by her beauty. He walked out speechless. Outside, a journalist appeared, and right behind Tae came Minam, now in her real female identity. Tae grabbed her and ran before the reporter could discover the truth. The journalist chased after them. Tae stopped in front of the famous actress, making everyone think the journalist was just her assistant. Meanwhile, Shin sat in his car, thinking deeply about Minam. Why was she crying like that? Later, Minam went back to her aunt, who once again insisted that Minam's mother had disappeared and was believed to be dead, and that she had once been a singer. When Minam returned to the dorm, the band members surprised her with a small celebration. She was so happy. Tae, however, stayed cold and distant as usual. Still, Minam thanked him for supporting her. Jeremy eventually learned about Minam's mother and thought this was why Tae was suddenly being kinder to her. The following day, the band's director went with Tae to meet the famous singer Layla, who was actually Tae's mother, though the director didn't know this. They sat down for a meal. Tae suddenly had an allergic reaction and rushed to the bathroom. By coincidence, Minam was nearby and realized what had happened. She figured out the allergy came from the food. Tae was stunned that she noticed and thought to himself, "Why didn't my own mother remember this?" From then on, Minam took care of him. Shin, however, waited for her outside, upset because she had told him she would stay with Tae since he was sick. She spent the entire day with Tae. For the first time, Tae smiled a real smile. Even Minam was shocked to see it. She told him, "Your hairstyle looks great. It really suits you." Later, Minam met Shin again. He was clearly heartbroken, but she had no idea why. Shin had fallen deeply in love with her, but she didn't notice. The next day, Minam's aunt moved in with the band since she had no place to stay. There wasn't a spare room, so the manager told Minam to choose who she would share a room with. Everyone refused, except Tae. Her aunt, however, was hiding the truth. On the phone, she admitted that Minam's mother was still alive. That night, Minam moved her belongings into Tae's room. She slept on the floor while Tae slept on the bed. In the middle of the night, Minam turned off the light and quietly watched Tae as he slept peacefully, like an angel. She was holding a small electric shock device, but accidentally zapped herself and fell right on top of him. The next morning, her aunt entered the room and woke Tae up. She playfully touched his lips, and Tae was horrified, completely shocked by what she did. After that, the manager suggested Tae delay the band's new album until the real Minam returned. He told her, "If you can sing the song, you can stay. But if not, it's better that you leave." The manager even begged Tae to sing in her place, but he refused. On the way back, Tae drove Minam and said, "You really think you can run away from this?" Minam went to see the nun she trusted and hugged her tightly. At the same time, the actress, the so-called angel, called Tae and told him she had a photo of the girl who was with him. Tae rushed to meet her, but it was a lie. She didn't have a photo at all. He left, furious. As she walked away, she was mocked by people who started taking pictures of her. Tae stepped in and defended her. When Minam later saw those photos, she decided to leave by herself. She wandered around aimlessly until she got a call from Shin. He was secretly following her and already knew she was a girl. He suggested some food for her to try. She ended up buying ice cream, while he sat behind her, watching quietly, and she had no idea. After a while, Shin was standing right in front of Minam as she walked toward him. Just before she reached him, she received a sudden phone call from Tae, so she quickly turned back to meet him. Shin felt a new wave of sadness because he had fallen in love with a girl who was clearly in love with his friend. Meanwhile, Tae pretended to kiss the famous actress in front of the press just to make them believe they were dating. Minam was hurt and upset, not realizing he was only doing it to protect her from the paparazzi. Even Tae's own fans were heartbroken and cried. Back at the dorm, the band members celebrated and congratulated Tae, but he walked into his room upset, while Minam was left completely confused. The next day, Minam was recording the new song. The music director told her, "Your voice has no emotion. No feelings at all." Later, Minam practiced with Shin in the training room. Afterwards, Tae offered to drive her back to her village because she wanted to visit her father's grave. When they arrived, it turned out that no one in that countryside village watched TV or even recognized Tae. At the same time, the famous singer Layla visited Minam's father's grave. She said to him, "The song you wrote will be sung again." Then she walked away. She passed right by Minam, who was surprised by her, but didn't think much of it. When Minam finally reached her father's grave, she saw flowers there, as if someone else had been visiting. She immediately wanted to run and catch the woman she had just seen, but Layla drove away, and Minam couldn't reach her. That night, Minam and Tae sat together under the moon and stars. Minam looked at him and said, "I see a bright, special star in front of me. This star is lucky and has so many fans." Tae didn't realize she was actually talking about him. Just then, the famous actress interrupted, completely ruining the romantic moment. The next day, Minam couldn't stop thinking about Tae. She missed him. Suddenly, her aunt rushed in and said, "Someone is here to take you." Thinking it was Tae, Minam ran outside, only to be surprised by Shin, who had been longing to see her. She cried, and Shin tried to comfort her. Later, Minam recorded the song again. As soon as Tae entered, her emotions shifted toward him. She sang with deep feelings that impressed everyone. At the end of the song, she burst into tears and ran away. Shin followed her and hugged her tightly right in front of Tae's eyes. Tae was frustrated and burning with jealousy. When Minam noticed Tae standing there, she quickly left. Shin stopped Tae from chasing after her. Minam sat alone, sad because she had lost control of her emotions. Suddenly, Jeremy appeared and took her out to cheer her up. Of course, Jeremy still thought she was a boy. He ordered her super spicy food, and they stayed up all night playing and laughing together. Minam was genuinely happy. Later, she sat with the band's assistant, who gave her unusual advice. "If you ever lose control of your feelings, just pinch your nose and everything will be fine." So, Minam went to see Tae while pressing her nose to control herself. Tae was shocked and said, Are you crazy or what? Then Tae told her, go confess to Shin. Tell him you're a girl and admit your feelings. Either he'll accept you, or he'll walk away. Tae only said this because he thought Minam liked Shin. A little later, Minam sent a message saying she had no intention of telling Shin the truth about being a girl. The next day, the band had a photo shoot. Shin and Jeremy looked incredibly stylish and elegant. A journalist asked Jeremy about the girl in the photo with him, wanting to track her down, but Jeremy gave him no useful answers. Later, Minam met a childhood friend of her twin brother while pretending to be her brother. He hugged her warmly, but noticed that the scar on her hand had disappeared. Tae quickly stepped in before Minam got into deeper trouble and explained, Minam had cosmetic surgery. The three of them sat together. The childhood friend kept joking around with Minam, which drove Tae insane. He thought to himself, is she actually enjoying this? If he keeps flirting with her like that, I'm going to explode. Later, Minam threw leaves at Tae, and they started playing together like children. The whole crew thought they were close friends from childhood. For the second time, we saw Tae's beautiful smile, the kind of smile that almost made Minam lose control of her heart. Afterwards, she sat again with her brother's friend, who noticed her shoes and asked, are you sure these are yours? We always had the same size. Just then, Tae showed up and called Minam away. The friend muttered to himself, maybe he had surgery on his feet or something. Minam worried the conversation might expose her secret, but luckily, nothing happened. Back at the dorm, Minam found her aunt opening a package that had arrived for Tae. She quickly thought, I need to wrap it again so he won't know it was opened. But a letter fell out. Minam discovered the package was from Tae's father, and that today was Tae's real birthday. At the same time, Tae went to meet his mother. He thought she had sent the package because it was his birthday. But instead, she only wanted to introduce him to a journalist for an interview. Disappointed and hurt, Tae walked away. Later, he confronted his mother. She scolded him. How could you embarrass me like that? He replied, aren't you worried someone might find out I'm your son? As he turned to leave, she stopped him and said, you're upset because I abandoned you as a child? Well, I'm upset with you too. Because of you, I lost the love of my life. Tae answered bitterly, at the very least, you could have remembered what today means to me. Unbeknownst to them, Minam overheard everything. That's when she discovered the shocking truth. Tae was the illegitimate son of the famous singer Layla. Tae was completely devastated, and Minam, watching silently, didn't know what to do. Tae went to the studio to record, trying to forget his sadness, but his water bottle was empty. Immediately, Minam rushed out, bought him a new one, and replaced it without him noticing. When the lights suddenly went out, Minam quickly fixed everything, and the atmosphere returned to normal. Tae sensed that something strange was going on, so he muttered to himself, I feel like having a cup of coffee right now. Minam ran to get him a coffee. At that moment, she was finally exposed. Tae looked at her and said, what are you exactly? Some kind of fairy or a delivery girl? They both sat down together, discussing what they should do. Later, Minam bought him seaweed snacks, but it turned out he was allergic and couldn't eat them. So Minam took him shopping for stickers. They spent the whole night together, and just 5 minutes before the day ended, Minam pulled Tae into a hug and whispered, I was born on this day. It's so special to me. And you've become so precious. For the first time ever, Tae looked nervous and speechless. But Shin was standing on the rooftop, watching everything. He sighed to himself. No matter what I do for her, she only has feelings for Tae. The next day, Layla went to meet with the music producer. He asked her, did you discuss the song with its original composer, who happened to be Minam's late father? Layla replied, I'm searching for the composer's twin children. The whole industry is upside down about them. Meanwhile, Tae was filming a commercial with the famous actress. In a scene that required a kiss, the actress went too far and kissed him for real, since she was madly in love with him. That night, the boys celebrated, but Minam was sad because she had lost something important, a hairpin that Tae had given her as a gift. The actress found the hairpin and kept it, even though she knew it belonged to Minam. She wore it proudly, then went to Minam with a sly smile and said it was hers. Around the same time, Layla called Minam's aunt, asking to meet her. Of course, the aunt had no idea she was speaking with the famous singer. At that very moment, the actress set up a trap for Minam on stage. She forced Minam to perform a song, and the moment Minam appeared under the spotlight, the actress poured water all over her to humiliate her and expose her identity. But Tae, Shin, and Jeremy rushed in to save her. They helped Minam, performed together with her on stage, danced, and wowed the audience. After that, the actress discovered Minam's true identity as a girl. She began blackmailing her, threatening to reveal her secret to the entire band. Minam was crushed, terrified that her presence might harm the group. Meanwhile, Minam's aunt told Layla she didn't know where the twins were, but she might be able to negotiate about her brother's song. Later that night, Tae found Minam in the kitchen, very ill. She collapsed, and he immediately carried her to the hospital. At the hospital entrance, she whispered weakly, "The band will be ruined because of me. Please, take me home." And so he did. Her fever had soared past 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and Tae stayed beside her, taking care of her. The next day, Jeremy and Shin also looked after her. The actress visited, pretending to check on Minam. But when she spoke to her privately, she said, "Either you tell the truth yourself, or I will tell the band you're a girl." Minam decided to gather the team and confess. Just as she was about to speak, the actress barged in and pretended to be pregnant with Tae's child, ruining everything. Later, she called Minam and warned her, "Don't you dare tell them anything now." At the same time, Layla sat heartbroken, thinking about her lost love, Minam's father. Holding his photo with his children, she whispered, "I must find those twins, no matter what." Meanwhile, Tae sat alone, devastated, saying to himself, "My mother abandoned me because of her lover." The next day, there was a concert. Minam removed her disguise, but Shin quickly covered her with his jacket so the press wouldn't notice. He declared in front of everyone that she was his girlfriend, then whisked her away. This is how Jeremy discovered the truth. He later confronted Tae, who confirmed it. It was all part of the actress's evil plan to destroy Minam. But once again, Shin managed to protect her, and the group reunited. Jeremy looked at Minam with anger and hatred in his eyes. She apologized, but suddenly he burst into laughter, pretending to be happy she was actually a girl. Felt like he had lost his mind from the shock. Later, the four of them ran into the actress. Tae told her coldly, "Stop acting. We all know your dirty truth now." The next day, the boys became even closer to Minam than before. Meanwhile, Tae went to visit his sick mother. He told her he would sing the song she wanted. The following day, news spread everywhere that Shin had a girlfriend, leaving his fans in tears. Minam later apologized to Shin for the misunderstanding that put her in a difficult position. But Tae still believed Minam was in love with Shin. Out of jealousy, he treated her harshly and made her cry. When she went to meet Shin, the manager tried to stop her, knowing Shin was planning to confess his feelings. But Minam insisted on going, thinking she was simply helping a friend. The manager rushed to inform Tae, who quickly intervened, dragged Minam away, and confronted her angrily. He yelled at her until she shouted back, "What do you want from me? Just leave me alone." In a heated moment, Tae leaned in, lost control, and kissed her. Immediately afterwards, he ran away, panicking. "What have I done?" Meanwhile, Shin called Minam and said, "I'm waiting in your place." Minam sat there, lost in her thoughts, imagining Tae's tender words and how he had looked at her. That same day, Tae was overheard speaking badly about Minam while standing with the actress. Without realizing it, Minam was right behind him, hearing everything. The actress seized the chance to drive them further apart. Minam broke down, crying bitterly. Shin arrived to comfort her, as always, and even sang for her. And yet, Minam still had no idea that Shin had fallen in love with her deeply. The next day, they had a photo shoot with the famous actress. Minam was busy getting her makeup done, wearing a dress and remembering her past as a girl. She took a photo, and Shin saw her. His eyes nearly popped out of his head. He thought she looked so cute. He went to sit with her, but the actress went to bring Tae so he would see them together and misunderstand. Exactly as she planned, Tae saw them. Minam cried, and Shin realized that she loved Tae. Everyone was heartbroken, and the atmosphere became very heavy. The actress sneered at Minam and said, "Come on, get lost already. We want to be done with you." Suddenly, a reporter showed up, so Minam ran away before he could see her. At the same time, Tae discovers that Minam is in love with him. At that very moment, her aunt sits with Lily and asks her, "Are you the mother of the twins?" But Lily replies, "No, I'm not. However, I am the reason their father left their mother, and she died heartbroken and alone. That's why I want to correct my mistake and give half of my fortune to the twins." Tae goes to meet Minam and tells her, "Everything will be fine, don't worry." He hugs her and their love story begins. Meanwhile, a journalist finds a photo of Minam Minam wearing a dress. He notices the strong resemblance between her and the idol Minam, and he realizes that they are actually the same person and that Minam is, in fact, a girl. Shin meets them and tells them that Minam has been exposed. At the same time, the manager explains to the journalist that the male Minam has a twin sister who looks exactly like him. The journalist assumes that Shin is in love with Minam's twin sister. In this way, half of the problem is solved. Shin takes Minam, in her real identity as a girl, to the journalist to confirm their relationship. He asks the journalist not to publish any photos related to this matter. Once again, Minam apologizes to Shin for the trouble she caused him. Shin, who is secretly overjoyed, tells her, "Let's officially start dating." But Minam takes everything he says as a joke. The following day, Minam's aunt took her to meet Layla, the famous singer. Layla told Minam she knew her father and mother. Both were shocked when they saw each other. Soon after, Layla discovered that Minam was actually a girl, not a boy, and was very upset that she was living with her son outside of marriage. The next day, the actress set Minam up and caused problems between her and Shin. Shin was miserable, while Tae shouted angrily at the actress, "What are you? You're a devil." Later, Minam sat with Shin, insisting she was fine, while at the same time, Layla was plotting to get rid of Minam and separate her from her son at any cost. Meanwhile, Jeremy learned that Minam loved Tae. His heart shattered, since he too was madly in love with her. He ran off devastated, and the others chased after him. Jeremy had a live broadcast in just an hour. Minam reached him and sat by his side while he cried, heartbroken. She stayed with him, and during the live call-in show, Jeremy sang with his heart in pieces. Even Minam cried for him. In the end, the two decided to remain friends. The next day, Layla told Minam that the boys had figured out she was a girl. She warned her, "You're playing a dangerous game. And don't tell Tae that your father is the songwriter of the song I'll make him sing. He'll only get hurt." After that, Tae spent most of his time with Minam and kissed her for the second time. The next day, her twin brother finally recovered and was ready to return to Korea. At the same time, Minam overheard the manager talking about Layla. She discovered that Layla had been her father's lover and that she was making Tae sing the song again because of her love for him. Minam was shocked and ran to her aunt, who made things worse by telling her that her father had abandoned her mother because of the singer Layla. Soon after giving birth to the twins, her mother died of heartbreak. So Minam confronted Layla and cried, "You're the reason my mother died. You talk about love, but you abandoned your son and stole another woman's husband and children, and you call that love?" Layla replied, "Did Tae find out that you're the daughter of the songwriter I sacrificed everything for?" At that very moment, Tae really did find out the truth. His mother was the one who exposed it because she wanted to tear them apart. The next day, a reporter asked the actress, "Is Minam really a girl in disguise?" She panicked and pretended to faint to avoid answering. Meanwhile, Minam packed her things to leave the house. But Shin and Jeremy took her on a trip instead. A paparazzi photographer followed them, determined to confirm his suspicions. At the same time, Tae questioned his mother about Minam's mother and eventually found her photo. That night, Minam said goodbye to Shin before traveling abroad. Shin was crushed, broken-hearted over his one-sided love. Tae met Minam at the airport and handed her a picture of her mother, saying, "Your father wrote this song for her. It was my mother who stole it." At the airport, Shin and Jeremy said their goodbyes and left. Just then, Minam's twin brother returned. The reporter grabbed him, thinking he was Minam, shouting, "I caught you, girl." He yanked at his clothes and was shocked to discover he really was a boy. Later, Minam met with the manager, who explained that her brother had traveled for a few days. Once again, they begged her to disguise herself as him for just one day. The moment Tae saw her, he immediately recognized her true identity as the girl. After the concert, the manager gave her a ride, and she ran into Layla. Layla begged Minam for forgiveness. Minam replied, "Ask forgiveness from your son Tae, and then I'll forgive you too." Meanwhile, Shin advised Tae, "Hold on to your love. If you let her go now, you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Soon after, Tae met his mother. She told him, "Minam asked me to come and apologize to you myself. I hope you can forgive me." Tae realized how deeply Minam loved him. He rushed out, searching for her everywhere, until a little girl told him Minam had gone to attend the Angel Band's concert before leaving. It was almost impossible to find her among the huge crowd. So Tae sang her song on stage. Through it, he finally reached her heart. He spotted her crying, then ran down from the stage in front of everyone, embraced her tightly, tightly and said he loved her and wanted to spend his life with her. He gave her a star-shaped gift, and together they finally lived happily. And that, my friends, is the end of our drama. I hope you enjoyed this summary. Stay tuned for more amazing stories coming soon. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell to get all my new videos, and of course, give this one a like. I'll be waiting for your comments. See you in the next drama.